Hey, this is going to be a fun one because I'm not entirely sure where this is going to go. I just got home after dropping off my munchkins with my parents and felt the urge to make a video. So here we are. Let's see what happens. What I really think I could add to already, like things that I've kind of already touched on, is my belief that about 70% of our vocal issues can be solved with two things. That's breath, how we use it, the way we breathe, and so on and so forth, and posture. Or actually, forget posture, breath and awareness, because posture plays into breath. Ooh, they're the same. And really, a lot of it's just awareness. So I think I'm going to start with the awareness factor. And to do that, I'm just going to start with giving a presentation. A lot of people that I've been working with this last week and a half are already successful entrepreneurs, are already giving talks to people. They're already doing the kind of thing that I want to do. And it's absolutely stunning to me that they're interested in what I'm doing and that what I have to say actually kind of helps them. One thing that's a trend that keeps coming up is when you're in front of an audience, whether it be your boss singly or a group of people at a convention center or in a team meeting at work or maybe a conference that you're putting on and you are the keynote speaker. When you get into speaking, there's a lot of things going on between you and the audience, and there's a lot going on with your voice. Have you ever noticed that, like, a really receptive audience, you can actually feel that? You can tell, wow, they are really hyped about what I'm talking about. And so it's almost like a feedback loop. We experience this as a vocal performer or as a comedian or as an actor. When you get up in front of a group, if they are with you, whoever's on stage can tell right away. You can also tell the inverse of a dead audience. They're not with you. They're not paying attention for whatever reason. They're just not getting it. But anyways, it's like a feedback loop. If you go out there and you are giving your best and the audience is getting it and they're listening to you, you can actually feel them picking up on the energy you're putting out, your enthusiasm. You can see it in their faces. You can see it by the fact that they're sitting on the edge of the chair. You paid for the whole seat, but you will only need the first part of your chair. And you can tell that. And then that gives you as a speaker or as a presenter more energy. And it just goes on and on and on. And by the time you're done, instead of being tired, you are amped beyond reason. You could go run a lap around the building in your suit coat or whatever you're wearing in your heels and be fine. Come back and be like, okay, let's do it again with these same people. Let's go. The opposite, therefore, is true. You could walk in, be totally hyped up about what you're getting ready to speak about, and as you go 5 minutes in, it feels like it's going about this far and then falling right on its face in front of the platform or podium that you're on. No one seems to be paying attention. No one seems interested. There are polite stares. There are people who are drawing little circles on ping pong balls and putting them up here to make it look like they're paying attention. There's just no one's paying attention, and you catch it immediately. You may not even see it. There may be blinding lights in your face, but your body can feel it. And that's the moment that I want to key in on. When your audience isn't connecting with you, what do? You breathe. Before we get into how to do that, I kind of want to play with that terrifying moment of they're not getting it. There's a lot that happens. You speak faster. The pitch of your voice goes up. And you actually breathe more shallowly. In fact, you're probably forcing your breath and your voice. So it goes from something like this, where I'm just speaking to you, and you probably even noticed a shift when I started speaking this way. That was completely unintentional. I'll explain what you just felt or heard in a minute. But I'm going to show you the opposite first. So when they're not getting it, you breathe shallowly. You can't get enough breath. And that, in turn, triggers the flight and flight. We're just going to fly. We're going to run away. There is no fight. That triggers your flight or fight response in your brain. So that shallow breath actually starts something up here. Then you start paying attention to the little voice inside your head that's going, dude, they are not with you. Get on the ball. Get on the ball, man. And because you're listening to that voice, you're having trouble finding the right words. But you're also speaking faster. So all of a sudden, you go from a very comfortable, relaxed, confident place to something that sounds like this. And you're speaking so fast that you actually can't get the right words, so you're putting in verbal clutter, and your audience actually hears that, and they feel it, and then they're put on edge. And now they're on the edge of their chairs, not because they're interested, but because they're afraid you're going to pass out. And they feel like you don't know what's going on. And they can actually feel you falling apart, and then that makes you fall apart even worse. And it's this dreadful feedback loop. And that's where the breath kicks in, and that's where paying attention kicks in. I made another video about listening to your voice. If you watch that video, if you try it, if you're willing to allow for the possibility that that voice can be helpful, then you might actually find that your voice is saying, dude, you're speaking too fast, and help you slow down. So if that works, that's one key. But again, having that voice telling you you're going too fast, man, doesn't actually help, because you're already engaged in a subconscious feedback loop that's just driving it worse and worse and worse and worse. Your throat's going to get raspy. People are going to start visibly looking and feeling agitated because you are. They're going to mirror whatever you present on the stage. So breath is the key. If you take a deep breath, that forces you to shut up for a second. If you take a deep breath, that allows your brain time to catch up with where your mouth is. If you take a deep breath, that allows you to actually get back into a comfortable spot. Now that pause that I just had there was maybe, a second? Did that feel uncomfortable to you? Obviously you can't respond, I can't hear you. Think about it, did that feel uncomfortable? Was that horrifically, oh my gosh, what's he doing? Did he forget? No, it's quick. But I'll tell you what, my brain was like, you're going too long, it's taking too much time, they're going to get uncomfortable. That's what we do on stage. So take a moment on stage. If you feel like you're getting antsy, if you feel agitated, if you notice that you're speaking much faster than you meant to, or that other people are starting to look in the audience like they're getting a little uncomfortable for you on your behalf. They're actually with you, even if you don't think it. They're with you subconsciously. They're like, oh my gosh, he looks really afraid. I'm going to be afraid with him. So how do we use our breath? How do we breathe deeply? There's a lot of stuff going on with your breath. The first thing that happens with your breath is your lungs, right? That's where we get our breath. Your lungs are like a wet grocery bag, like the plastic ones. You know, you put your milk in there, it gets all sweaty, you pull it out and the bag goes with it. And then you try and get the bag off of the milk, it gets on your hands, and it's stuck to everything it touches. That is my biggest sensory trigger. I hate it. I will actively reach across and stop someone from bagging my milk. I'm like, nope, that goes in my hand, not in the bag, thanks. They look at me weird, I don't care. I don't have to deal with the wet plastic bag. So your lungs are like that. They're not actually a muscle. Those of you who remember biology and all those classes are like, duh. But it's helpful to remember your lungs aren't actually a muscle. So when you breathe in deeply, first of all, your chest is actually working. You've got these little tiny muscles between each rib, and when you breathe in, they actually contract, and they physically raise your rib cage. And when you exhale, they relax. So breathing in, when you allow your chest to work with you, it pulls your lungs up, and that pulls your breath in. Sound effects, no extra charge, all day, every day. These muscles aren't the only ones that are involved. You've also got abdominal muscles. When you breathe in really deeply, especially if you're a singer, you're actually expanding these. You're actually pushing your gut down a little bit. That's probably more than you need to just speak. But as a singer, that's actually what happens. You can watch a singer and you'll actually see his chest or his gut kind of moving because we are tanking up. So then you get not just the upward movement, giving your lungs room for air. You actually also get the downward. So every breath doubles your breath. So before I go into any more explanation here, I want to give you a technique to practice feeling that, or to do it intentionally. Like, first of all, just take a deep breath right now. Just your normal deep breath. And just sigh it out. One more. And sigh it out. You can actually put your stomach on your gut, or, I'm smart, you can put your hand on your gut. Nouns are hard. And feel if it does anything. If there's even the slightest bit of motion, awesome, you've found it. You're starting. Now, if you're still having a hard time doing it, I've got one way that I have yet to see that it doesn't work. Imagine that you are in a friend's house and they just finished baking your favorite food. For me, it's chocolate chip cookies, followed closely by butterscotch. So they just finished cooking these cookies and they actually just pulled the tray out and they're like, hey, you want to smell? Like, these cookies are so warm that heat is radiating into your face. So what do? You lean forward and you inhale. The most heavenly inhalation that you've had in a month, because you want to get every last bit of that glorious chocolate chip cookie smell, or whatever your pastry of choice is, or food. Name it. Try it. So try that. Imagine that someone just baked cookies and you get to take the first whiff. So breathe in through your nose, feel it go all the way through your body, and then just let it out. You may notice that I pause when I inhale like that, right? When we breathe, we think, oh yeah, there's inhalation and there's exhalation. There's actually 4 parts. There's the inhalation, then there's a pause, there's a rest, then there's the exhalation, and then there's a rest. Don't believe me? Try breathing on your own right now, or watch what happens when I don't believe there's a rest. Inhale, exhale. I pant like a dog. We don't do that. So take another chocolate chip cookie breath and feel how expanded you are, and notice that when you finish, there's actually a slight pause before everything starts collapsing again. And then when it does collapse, there's another slight pause before you breathe in again. So just breathe a little bit and notice. You go in, you pause, you exhale, you relax. You go in, you pause, you exhale, you relax. I swore to myself I would never sing in a video. I'm going to break that right now. Singing is, and speaking, is learning how to control that exhalation. When you speak, what are you doing? You inhale, and then you exhale with sound. So this is the breath kicking in. This is paying attention kicking in, right? I'm a little bit, yeah. So when you sing, though, here's what happens. You inhale, there's that little pause, and then the person sing, and now it's time for another breath. Sing. Same with speaking. So, il mio tesoro intanto, and then I breathe. All right, and you'll notice it comes very naturally to me. There's no tension anywhere because I'm just letting my breath do it. Let's see if anything happens. I actually don't know. I haven't tried this yet. So check out the gut here. Right? That's what it looks like. In and out. Il mio tesoro intanto. And then I let the rest out. The same thing happens when you speak. So when you're on a platform and you notice you're speaking quickly, you can pause for a second, because really it's not as painful for the audience as it is for you. Pause for a second and just take a deep breath. Feel everything expand. Feel that momentary pause. Let it out. And then breathe in that same place. And as soon as that pause is done, talk again. And you may have even noticed just now, my pitch actually lowered a little bit into a more comfortable place in my voice. And my speech, my pace of speech actually slows down when I'm breathing correctly. It happened a little bit earlier, like 5 minutes in. I'm like, I'll explain that. And then I didn't. Now I am. When you breathe deeply, when you connect with that breath and you feel it and you're paying attention, even with a very minute part of your brain, you automatically lock in to a more comfortable place within you. And it can build confidence instantly, because you know you have enough breath and it will slow you down. It takes some practice, but just paying attention to whether or not you're taking a deep breath is going to make massive leaps and bounds in your ability to present and to speak in front of audiences. or in front of individuals. I invite you to try it. I'm trying to think if there's something else that I can throw in here with that. Oh yeah, if you want to take that even deeper, stand up, right? Because chances are you're standing in a podium, you're standing in front of somebody if it's a formal setting. Unless, you're the therapist or you're the counselor and you're leaning back and you're like, tell me about this. You can do that when you're sitting too, but when you stand especially, when you take a deep breath, you can actually play this game. I'm not going to do it fully right now, but I'll walk you through it. I lied. I'm going to do it fully right now. I'm going to walk you through it if you want to try this now. Stand up. If it took you this long to stand, okay, well, we're going to move on anyways. You can still stand up while we're doing this. And I want to invite you to take that wonderful cookie breath or a deep breath if you're comfortable doing it, whatever. You can close your eyes even. You don't have to see what I'm doing. But you're going to take a deep breath. And you're going to feel it go into your stomach. So just continue doing that. Now, I don't want a belabored deep breath like, oh, God, right? We want it to feel natural. So get to a comfortable, natural spot. A happy cookie breath, not this is the last time I'm going to smell cookies in the world and I want to breathe them all in. I want the cookies to come in through my nostrils. Don't do that. Just a comfortable breath. Start breathing that way. And keep breathing while I speak and try this. You can close your eyes again if you don't feel comfortable with some pixelated person looking at you who I can't see you anyways. But breathe in. Let it out. Get into a rhythm of your own. Now, next time you breathe in, feel it go into your stomach. Right? Feel your chest expand, feel your abdominals expand, the next couple of breaths while I say this. Now, imagine the next time you breathe that breath's actually going to go into your waist, into your upper legs, so to speak. And every time you take another breath, it's going further and further down your legs. And eventually it's going to hit your feet. And when it hits your feet, I want you to imagine that you're actually no longer breathing just for you, but you're actually breathing into the floor, right? Every breath that you take is actually going right down your whole body, and it's actually going into the floor. You're going to notice a lot of things happening if you're allowing yourself to get to this point. You're going to notice you feel probably stupidly relaxed. You also probably feel really aware of what your body is physically doing. Your legs, your arms, your feet especially. Breathe in again. And this time as you breathe into the floor, almost imagine that you're growing roots into it. My favorite illustration is Treebeard, the Ent from Lord of the Rings. Imagine that every time you breathe, you're just shooting your feet, or like little roots into your feet. You're breathing for the whole room now. You can actually feel everything, so to speak. If you can't, that's okay. Don't worry about that. But if you can mentally picture that you're breathing, and for the whole space that you're in, you are going to feel so physically relaxed and connected with the floor and with you that it feels good. Hopefully some of you watching right now are experiencing that. Now the same thing with Treebeard. When you get to that breathing position, you can actually walk around, right? He's slow. Ka-chunk. Ka-chunk. He is slow as all get out, but Treebeard is never going to fall over. Like, there's no way. He's a freaking tree. So, if you like Lord of the Rings, cool. If not, and you're like, what on earth is this guy going on about? It's okay, I'm a fantasy nerd, don't mind me. But imagine that you're a tree, and you have the ability to actually move around a little bit, right? You can put your roots into the floor. So another fun thing with Treebeard is when he speaks, he actually is the ultimate illustration of relaxed speaking and honestly, confidence. Because he speaks so slowly and deliberately that you really want to know when this sentence is going to freaking end. It's actually annoying because we don't know how to calm down in our society, right? We're like, get to the end of your sentence already! Oh my God! But if you get into a place like that and you're breathing comfortably and you're breathing for that room, you are going to have that confidence to speak at whatever rate of speech you want. Obviously, you aren't going to take 2 minutes to finish a sentence, because that's just dumb. But if you're paying attention, you breathe into that space and you just say something. Say whatever's on your mind. My word, this guy is weird. Huh, I've never felt this before. This is strange. I think I'm doing it wrong. That's okay. Keep playing around with it. If you notice anything, even if you're just speaking slower, you got it. So back to actual practical application. It's going to speak in front of people. How do we use this practically? Ooh, excuse me. Take 2 of those deep breaths before you go on stage. If you can, take a couple minutes, get to that place where you feel that breath go all the way into the floor, and then stay connected to that. When you walk up to that podium, you aren't doing the nervous, oh gosh, all right, it's time to do stuff. You are just going to walk up confidently, slowly, whatever pace you want. And then when you get to that podium, before you open your mouth to say boo, take 1 more breath. And as soon as you feel that relaxed spot, start in. You know your content. You know what you're about to say. Maybe you don't. Like me, I have no clue that any of this was going to come out. I was not planning on imitating Treebeard. I'm glad I got an opportunity to do it in public. It's not my best imitation, but I'm not going to bore you all to tears. I am me for that. But you're going to reach this place, and you can start in that confident, breathing place. And I can guarantee you will feel more confident, even if your brain doesn't believe it. You're physically going to feel it, and that will slow down the process to stress. And guess what? If you're paying attention to your rate of speech, to the pitch of your speech, right? You start talking faster, and you start talking higher pitch, and you start paying attention to your breath. If you ever get that anxious feeling, look for those 3. Pitch, rate of speed. Where am I breathing? Can I feel it down in my gut, or is it all up here? If you're talking fast, guess what? Take a deep breath and slow down. If your pitch is going high, take a deep breath, connect with that, and see where it goes. If you aren't breathing here, well, now we know what's going on. Take a deep breath and watch all of the other things slowly come into place. And if you feel like you're too tense, it's okay to take a step. Shoot, you can shift your weight. Shift to one leg, shift to the other leg, just to bend those knees. Breathe in, feel everything go down into the floor, and pick up where you left off. I promise your audience will not die in the 1 second that it takes to do it. This has been by far my longest video. I hope that it is helpful to you. I'm really glad that I sat down to make it. If you have any questions, if you want to experiment with this, or you want to spend some time with me working on it to practice this so that it becomes second nature, I'd love to help you out. And you're going to notice too, I do the same thing, and I know what's going on. So take comfort in that a professionally trained vocalist still sometimes slips into this place. It's going to happen. And the key is, you can't judge it. Just pay attention and then breathe. That's it for today. Good luck. Let me know how it goes.